Come back. We're doing our stretchies.
Calcast is doing his stretches. Where?
Calcast is doing stretches.
So, does
Areas.
TU Star Wars, especially as you like expand out from the core stuff,
Whoa, he's shitting on you.
does it kind of have with the character of Luke, is there kind of a Superman type thing where it's like Superman's like the last fucking Kryptonian, and then all of a sudden like, oh, but his cousin's there, also Zod's there, and it kind of dilutes that like last son of Krypton like weight. Does Luke's importance, maybe not necessarily importance, but like, well, yeah, kind of his importance in his the weight of who he is and who he was get lessened by the addition of people like a Cal, or like a or like Star Killer in like Force Unleashed, or these new characters that are coming afterwards. Afterwards isn't maybe not as much of a problem, but definitely like before and at the same time.
Does it lessen Luke's?
Does it lessen Luke's position?
I think it depends on what they do.
Kind of in or the weight of Luke because of that. Because like I was saying with like Superman, it kind of lessens the whole last son of Krypton thing.
Exactly. I like my whole thing is I love loner characters.
Yeah.
And I love the idea like of Batman always being a loner. He'll never have like.
He has the Bat family, but he's still very much
he's
on
very
his own.
much his own. Like he's in his own dark place.
Yeah.
Emotionally and everything, and psychologically.
Yep.
With everything that's happened to him in his life, he's really distant to everybody.
Yep.
And that makes him a loner.
Yep.
But when he has those little sparks of love and like enjoyment with other people, like you kind of care for him.
Kind of the who he'd be if he wasn't so wrapped up in what he's doing.
I like Luke being the loner.
Yeah.
But I also like having Luke give like little signs of hope.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what everything is about.
Yeah.
In Star Wars is about these little glimmers of hope in like this dark world of space.
Well, I think Luke functions well as a loner, but he also thrives when he's around people. You know what I mean?
Like, I think his power comes from his friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like his friends give him.
He couldn't have made it out of that trench run without Han.
No, it's so much about like he is like a good loner and whatever, but he's definitely stronger when he has his friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't particularly like him as a loner.
Yeah,
but I get why he wants to distance himself too. And
well, he did get progressively more on his own throughout that, because like until between because he fucks off after Empire.
Yeah, he does.
And is pretty much on his own till Jedi when he fucking shows up.
He goes to Dagobah, probably trains with Yoda more.
Yeah. And then old boy dies.
And then homeboy, yeah. And that's his only connection to like the old world of Jedi too, is like these old masters. And Cal, I don't think has a real connection to like old masters other than his.
No, he is very much on his own. Luke is like, he's the torchbearer, right?
Yeah, he's the only one that's powerful enough to actually like learn these things at an advanced rate.
And he was necessary for Anakin to quote unquote bring balance to the Force, right?
Yeah, the Force basically like willed Luke and Leia to like be the ones to usher him back to the light, because the Force wills the balance. Yeah. And if the Force wants balance, it'll get balance.
Well, that's just it, because a lot of people overlook the fact that it's like, your father was supposed to be the chosen one, the one to bring balance to the Force. It's like, this kind of falls to you now. And it does to a degree, but it does in the way that he has to, him pushing.
The Force course corrects itself.
Yeah, him coming into contact and softening Vader essentially allows Vader to break his conditioning and kill the Emperor,
fulfilling the prophecy.
While
technically,
the Emperor kills him, so he effectively becomes a good guy again, and then, but while also being a Sith, he dies, and he took out his master too, so he quote unquote did bring balance to the Force. Still, Luke was just the Deus Ex Machina.
Who's to say if prophecies in this world?
Also,
really...
no, he didn't. He did not bring balance to the Force.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
He took out the dark side.
He just took out the dark side, whereas like a good balance is a combination of both.
Yeah.
But not like using the dark side for evil intent. Is just like knowing the dark side exists and letting it thrive enough just to balance it out.
Yeah, what would bring balance to the Force is Luke, completing his Jedi training, opening up a school, and bringing fucking new Jedi into it. While and he not touch Insidious and Vader at all necessary. Like, he wouldn't have to, because then you had the dark side represented and you have the light represented.
Exactly.
True balance is to say fuck both of them and just everybody be gray Jedis. But
This is like a Zelda temple here.
It is, dude. That's what I was thinking too.
Or it's like Portal, where you're like throwing companion cubes, companion spheres around.
Companion cubes.
But yeah, the whole balance thing is like, it needs to have some darkness to it, or else why is the yin and yang even there? Like,
yeah, it's like the Jedi don't realize that.
They're like, oh, we just gotta eliminate the Sith. Let's do it.
No, because then there's no overabundance of light side. The dark and the light must exist in order for there to be balance. So you need both of them.
Yeah, are we wrong? Are we wrong about thinking like this?
No.
Is it wrong to think
That's why I said everybody be a fucking gray Jedi and it'd be the best.
Yeah.
Everyone be Qui-Gon. Everyone be fucking Anakin before he went a little too fucking emo.
Well, you gotta think like the Emperor, right?
Be fucking Luke. Luke's a fucking gray Jedi.
Oh, yeah. But like, you gotta think that the Emperor dabbled with some like light side stuff too.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
like... a big
well,
thing.
that's just it, right? The light side is like your core, like your basics, right?
Yeah.
It's your origin point.
The foundation.
It's like you have to get through that before you graduate up to the dark side shit. Because
right,
that
where like
takes...
Sheev gets into like the necromancy.
Yeah, because that shit takes a lot out of a person.
Prolonging life? Yeah.
Yeah, like the dark side stuff like can physically cause you pain. And emotionally, and cause you to fucking... you have to have a strong mind, a strong will, and you have to have like a handle over your basic Force shit before you do it, because it's like it's an expansion pack.
Yeah.
To the Force, the dark side stuff.
The dark side is like, it's a DLC that you can dabble with, and it's like, it's all fun stuff. But you got to check yourself with the core basic stuff.
Consequences.
You got to boot up the root disk.
Because some of that shit, like some of the stuff that like the Sith want to do, some of it is not bad in nature, right? Like, because a lot of it's
prolonging
emotional.
Your life, maybe, and force draining life.
That is, but I mean, like, prolonging your life isn't inherently a bad thing.
If you're siphoning it from other people, though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And bringing people back from the dead inherently isn't evil.
And that's what the Emperor was doing, though, to Darth Vader. He was siphoning his life so he could live longer. And he wanted to do that to a youthful Luke. He's like, I want Luke now to, like, take your power.
Right. And his Sidious is fucking...
Or he's like, strike me down.
His corruption is a different type. So the other thing is, I think the Sith have different types of corruption, where Sidious had a more... his was more like a, I want to rule over everything, and it was cold and logical for a lot of it, right?
I'd like to think it's deeper, a little bit more deeper than that. Like, not just, I want to rule over everything, but, like, I want to
control.
I want to
have
be.
control.
I want to become the Force
Yeah.
itself, but like taint it.
Well, yeah, pretty
so
much
it's-
become a god essentially.
Yeah.
I want to control everything. Hence him wanting to create and resurrect and all that stuff. He wants complete control.
Well,
Whereas
he was
Vader,
basically doing that. He was playing God by like
Right.
manipulating the midichlorians.
a lot of it is like playing God, period, with the dark side. And Vader's was like a completely emotional thing, right?
Yeah. Whereas like I don't see how the Jedi
They're
can
very
like
different corruptions.
completely alienate yourself from your loved ones, and like fear is the path to the dark side. It's like, well, fear is a good motivator.
Yeah, it's if you let fear rule you that it
Yeah,
becomes.
you got to just be mindful
Again,
of it and be okay with like
It's the great
having
Jedi
some fear.
thing. Fear's not bad. It's just don't let it fucking control you.
Yeah.
It's a balance. You have to balance it out, just like life. You have to have a little light, little dark.
And I don't know if Yoda was completely.
Oh, Yoda had a lot of shit wrong, dude.
He was not that logical.
Well, he was indoctrinated too. You know what I mean? Like, all those people were indoctrinated into this religion and firmly believed what was written and what was said.
We can be honest, it was a cult.
Well, yeah. I mean, all religions started as cults, so
It's
pretty
just a
much.
gathering of like-minded individuals, and they're like, yeah. let's follow this. This
And
seems
then,
right.
and so they kind of reconfigured their brain to think of what they've been taught as logical, right?
Yeah.
The Sith did it too, but like
I did too.
they all did it too.
Jokes on you, jokes on you. I did
Right.
too.
But and two with the Sith, like the Jedi are very much like pretty much worshiping the Force, right? And the Sith very much more view it as a tool.
Well, I see the Sith as like wanting to expand their horizons and not just be limited to like this side of it.
Let the Force fuel you. Do what you can to to gain as much Force power as you can.
But then they get succumbed
And
by the
use
hate.
it.
They get succumbed by the anger of everything, and it just like taints their soul. I
It's
guess
that unbridled, like without restraint, taking all of this power, trying to siphon all this power.
Yeah.
That's why there's only ever two.
it's kind of like being vampiric, right?
Right.
Where it's like you get the taste of blood, and you're like, I want more.
Because was it Darth Bane that instituted the rule of two? So like the Jedi, the Sith once had vast numbers, but Darth Bane was very much just like, it was very much like, why should I share this power with all these people? Like if it was just me, you know, I could have all that, but also it can't be just me. Somebody has to carry this on.
Well, that's the thing. That's a good point that you make, because I've heard this be brought up a lot, where how the Jedi were spread out, the light side Jedi that follow the path of the light side.
Yeah.
There's many.
Yeah.
There's a whole fuck ton of them.
Yep.
That are learning the path of the light side.
Yep.
But when you look at the Sith side, it's just two.
Yep. And that's
So
why.
so the balance is like the heavy side of like the evil force is with the two people.
Yep.
Split between the two of them.
Yep.
They make up the balance of the most powerful side.
Yep.
And so they are the most powerful, like when they're going up against the many.
Yep.
Like Darth Maul, how he was just like taking on two guys at once. He was just like, yeah, I have half of the strongest side of the Force with me. I'm not splitting it up between a bunch of other Dark Jedi.
Yep.
It's just me and Sidious.
Yep.
So I can take anybody on.
And even if like you take some of the expanded universe stuff, and stuff, and like this too, and like Rebels and stuff, and Clone Wars, they do have other dark side Force users. They're not Sith. They don't know everything. But like the fucking what's their dicks in this game?
Night Sisters.
Yeah, the Night Sister.
Inquisitors?
The Inquisitors, yeah, like the Inquisitors, or like in the comics, Dooku had like a couple apprentices, and like you know, in Force Unleashed, Vader had his fucking secret apprentice. So there were other, if you take those into account, there were other dark side Force users, but there was the majority of it. They were only allowed so much of the power, though, right?
because their masters
Purposely.
I think they instilled that idea of the rule of twos because the main like master that was training the young like Padawan or whatever they would be called would then like somehow have like a manipulation effect on them, but like also drain them of their power when they needed it.
Yep.
And I think that's why like Sidious is like always like near.
And their manipulation too. And I don't know how many would do that or how many wouldn't, but like Sidious, I'm sure he did this, but like they would only teach you so much, or allow you so much like access to things.
To be very withholding.
That was like Sidious. If you took some of the, I think it was expanded universe stuff into account, he purposefully made Vader's suit and stuff fucking flawed and
so
and
he'd
clunky.
He'd feel suffocated.
And that's like an explanation for why it was just a costume explanation for like why is Vader so like Sidious made it so it was uncomfortable. It wasn't.
Why is he wheezing so much?
It wasn't.
Wouldn't they have a better respirator?
That's just it. Like purposefully gave him not good stuff.
Yeah.
So he would struggle more, and like let that fuel him, and fuel his power, which then Sidious can siphon off of, right?
Mm-hmm. When he feels that, he's like, "Ooh, I love
And when
this rage."
the whole because they're almost like the Sith are almost happy when their apprentice turns on them. You know,
because if you strike somebody down in anger,
it's basically my work here is done. I've taught you everything.
Yeah.
But it's also because the student has reached a point where he recognizes that his master is holding back, or holding stuff back from him, and they go behind their back to rectify it. Right. It's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of and it's the story of duality.
Yeah.
It's the story of like master and apprentice. It's all these like really kind of small ideas, but then brought into this huge world where the significance of that just permeates from that. It's just huge.
There's I've brought this up before on one of our
He just
gameplays.
farted before he died.
But there are those books, the Way of the Sith, and I think it's Path of the Jedi. But there are two books, and that you can currently get, but they are basically like texts essentially about each of those things that were compiled, and it was like it'll give you history of stuff, it'll give you like different like the techniques and like their ideologies and their whatever, and very cool in them too is they'll have little like notes written in the margins from various characters that and they're like addendums or insights into that thing, that specific topic. They're really cool. If you like that stuff like we were just talking about, you should scope
little nuggets of insight. Yeah,
they're very cool.
And we'll be back with more of Kashyyyk. Are we still on Kashyyyk?
Are we
We're
on?
not even on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, I was
okay.
gonna say, were we on
I was
Kashyyyk?
like, were we ever?
No.
Okay, I just saw the word once.
This ain't no dang old jungle.
It ain't. But we're going to a ship.
Oh,
we're gonna fight this ATST.
ST.
We'll be right back.
The big boy.